What is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here. It is time once again for a patch breakdown, a little patch rundown, whatever you want to call it, of me just going through the patch notes of the most recent patch for League of Legends, talking about all the changes, talking about some of my opinions, my takes on everything that's going to be changing in the game, and this is just my way of myself and you guys keeping up to date with all the latest changes in the game, because if you want to be going into ranked, if you want to have the highest chance of gaining LP, you got to know what's going on, you got to know about the latest information, all that stuff. So with that being said, let's get right into this. These videos are usually kind of longer because we have a lot of information to run through, so the quicker we get into it, the quicker we can get through it. So again, this is patch 10.5. It's going to be releasing on March 4th. I'm recording this on March 3rd right now, so we're getting it out a day early so you can start prepping, being ready, and then once you start to play games tomorrow, you will be all ready to go. Here's kind of the condensed patch notes if you just want to look at this stuff real quick, see what's going on, get out of this video, and go on with the gaming and stuff. Here you go, the buffs, the nerfs, and the new skins. But if we want information about the specific changes, here we go. So for Alistar, he is getting a base health increase and a buff to his passive. Alistar, he's been in a really bad state for a while. He's been one of the weaker supports. Even when tank supports got really strong, like Leona, Nautilus, stuff like that, Alistar was never feeling the love. He definitely needed some buffs. Base health will be really nice. Health early is super good for melee supports because they are more susceptible to getting poked out and stuff like that. So this should hopefully be good. I don't think it instantly makes him meta or anything, but his win rate will go up for sure. So if you like Alistar, there you go. Amumu is getting an R cooldown increase early. A little nerf to Amumu. As tanks are starting to get buffed, they're buffing Cinderhulk, they're buffing Bami Cinder. Amumu's been getting kind of strong recently, so they're just knocking him down a little bit. He is really easy to pull off, kind of really annoying to play against when he's strong, so I'm fine with them giving him a little nerf. I still think he's going to be really strong. He's definitely going to be playable. It's not a major nerf, but just something to keep him in check a little bit. Bard is getting a passive chime damage decrease. That's this is really big. Bard has been the best support on actually this last patch in Plat Plus. In pretty much all heals, he's been really strong. He can roam around so much. He can do a ton of damage. You know, the Season 10 meme where kind of like supports can 1v1 anyone and supports are just killing mid laners and stuff. Bard was doing that, so getting him passive chime damage decrease will hopefully bump him down in line. I mean, he had like a 55% win rate, so his win rate going down a little bit won't hurt him. Still going to be playable. He's not going to be gutted or anything, but just kind of decreasing that damage so he can't just kill everyone will be nice. Blitzcrank getting a base armor decrease, going from 40 to 37 armor. That just won't really matter. Small nerf since he just barely hit our trigger, so he was a little bit too strong, knocking him down just a little bit. Obviously armor really important in the bot lane. He's going to take more damage from AD carries and stuff, but he won't see a too big of a win rate drop, I'm sure. Graves getting the base MR and MR growth increase, Q now flat cost, and cooldown decrease. So Graves getting some buffs as power farming and carry junglers start to become stronger and stronger. There's also some death dance changes that are going to be really strong for Graves. He's been kind of in a bad spot for a while. He's a hard champion to balance because when he's strong, he's really dominant in the jungle. His clear's so good, he's so safe, he scales up like a monster. So they have to kind of be careful just giving him small buffs over time, but magic resist buffs are going to be really nice for him, so he's not getting one shot by mid laners, stuff like that. And then also his Q, you know, it's going to cost less mana and it's going to have a lower cooldown. Going to be getting that up more often. This will be nice Graves buffs. Kind of a champion that hasn't been in meta for a while. So the changes to Kai'Sa, they're pretty much they're saying here that they're trying to power her up more as she evolves, and they're especially trying to make her specialize into either AP or AD. Then there should be a trade-off based on that evolution. They just want you to kind of decide between AD and AP, and then you not get to kind of, you know, live the best of both worlds. So just decreasing the AP ratios on her Qs. So if you do decide to go AP, you know, you have that big W damage that your Q also isn't just shredding people, because that's more for the AD route. You are getting more missiles, so you are getting kind of an increase into the damage still, even though you're losing that AP ratio. And then for the W, just getting that damage increase, and then when you upgrade it, it's getting the more cooldown refunded against champions. So if you're going AP, there's some buffs to the AP part with your W. So if you do decide to go for the AP and you are going for those, you know, missile kind of Ws, your Q isn't still just shredding people. So there is some trade-offs between the two, but you also are getting stronger as you evolve. So that's some interesting changes. We'll have to see how that plays out, because it is kind of some buffs and some nerfs. So yeah, it'll be interesting to follow what happens with that. Kayn, passive orb game increased, and the W slow is increased. So Kayn has been in a really bad spot because he's so weak early, but he needs to fight people early to gain his form. Then once he gets one of his forms, he's usually very, very strong, but man, he really struggles to get to that form. So he's another champion that's really hard to balance, because if you make it easy to get his form, you make him a little stronger early, he's going to be overpowered. But if you make it so impossible to get his form, then he's just going to be useless early. So balancing that has been tough, but him gaining more orbs is obviously going to make him get to that form faster. This will definitely make him stronger, and then just the decaying slow in his W, that's just icing on the cake. But this could honestly push Kayn into a really, really good position. Lissandra's getting her Q AP ratio increase. That'll be nice. Lissandra's been in a terrible spot for the longest time. She was just known as this, you know, perma pushing mid laner, but her Q cooldown is so disgustingly high now that she can't really do that. Obviously, increasing the ratio will make it easier for her to clear waves, do a little bit more damage, be a little more useful, but she really does struggle to clear waves with the high cooldown of her Q. So let's see how this plays out. It could definitely feel really, really nice for her though, but I still don't think she's going to be like meta or anything necessarily in the mid lane. Neeko is getting a base attack speed growth and ratio increase. Her E AP ratio is increased, and her R shield is increased, giving Neeko some buffs for any situation, no matter what shape she takes. That's really, really interesting. There's actually a lot of buffs. They're buffing the attack speed for like the, you know, on hit Neeko that you saw top lane and AD carry. AP Neeko is getting buffed in the fact that her E AP ratio is going up, and then she's able to get her ultimate off in both scenarios, you know, whether she's AP or AD, just by getting that bigger shield so she's not dying during her ultimate. And then it's, you know, it's scaling with AP more as well. So yeah, that shield's going to be disgusting. It's going to make your ultimate more reliable, because that's kind of the problem with Neeko, is that she's a mage, but her ultimate requires her to really get in everybody's face, and she can be really susceptible if she doesn't have like Zanya's or something. So this is really interesting. These are some major Neeko buffs. I could see her being honestly pretty busted on this patch. Maybe not busted, but like all different kinds of Neekos coming back. Top lane, mid lane, maybe some AD carry. That'll be pretty interesting. Ornn getting some much deserved nerfs. Ornn passive empowered damage decrease, item auto upgrade level increase, ally item upgrade available later. So one, Ornn is getting less damage. That's definitely necessary. He can 1v1 like everyone in the game right now. It's absolutely disgusting. Also, Ornn's masterwork item auto upgrade for himself isn't until level 13, and then all of his allies are getting pushed back one level as well to 14, 15, 16, and 17. It's a good change. Ornn items are really strong, really OP. The sooner you get them, the stronger he's going to be. The later him and his team get them, the weaker he's going to be. So I think that makes sense as a nerf, but that shouldn't be too major. Genos getting one more level. That won't be too crazy. But the brittle proc damage going from 12 to 20.5% down to 10 to 18%, that will feel very, very nice when you're laning against him, but also in those mid-game fights where he's able to like kill mid laners and AD carries and stuff, because he is a tank. He should not be able to just straight 1v1 people, so that is a good change. A lot of people will be very happy to see that. Rammus getting his base attack speed ratio decrease. They gave him some random attack speed increase on the last patch. They're bumping those down. Him and Amumu were both really, really strong, especially as tank itemization and stuff gets stronger. So yeah, they're just nerfing him a little tiny bit, but he'll still be good. Sett getting a base armor, health regen, and health regen growth decrease. His R slow duration is decreased. So I think this makes a lot of sense. Sett, if you have played him or played against him, you know that his base health regen and just health regen in general is disgusting. Especially since during your W you get this huge shield that keeps you alive. You get this huge shield that keeps you alive, and then your health regen is so high that you are just able to get a lot of health back while you're in this W that you can't die in. It's really gross. He's really just hard to kill, hard to finish off. He has so many ways to just survive. So by nerfing his armor, they're trying to kind of push him out of the top lane a little bit. That'll also make him a little bit weaker in jungle and support as well. Where he's able to play so many different positions, just be so useful to team in so many ways. He's getting some pretty hefty nerfs here, honestly. Then the slow duration on the R, it's not really the main reason for the R, but obviously that'll make him a little weaker, not having as big of a slow on that. But the health regen and the armor changes will actually be pretty significant to him. He'll actually be easier to kill, which is the main problem with Sett right now, is that he's like unkillable, just kind of annoying to play against. But yeah, he's getting a lot of nerfs, which is good, because Riot was acting like he was balanced for a little while, but most people knew that Sett was pretty busted. Sivir getting a Q damage increase later, and R movement speed now scales. That'll be really, really nice. Obviously, that won't really help her early game getting to the late game where she's already kind of a monster. But yeah, as you pick Sivir to scale up and just kind of start doing damage over time, and this will help her out later. Again, I don't know if that necessarily makes her super, super good right now, but a nice little buff. Sona getting her base AD and AD growth increase, E self movement speed increase, and now flat. They're having a bunch of problems with Sona. You know, she was in the top lane just wreaking havoc, so they had to nerf her some, kind of giving her some compensation buff, so she's still a good playable support without being a terror in the top lane. So yeah, these should be some nice buffs for her, doing a little more poke damage with that AD, obviously, and then getting the self movement speed up to 20%, just allowing herself to run around fights, heal people, stay alive. That's the main thing with Sona. She's so squishy that if people can get onto you, you are gonna die. But if you can run away because you're so fast, then you'll have a chance to actually be useful to your team. And just some other things, some more jungle changes. The Darius, he's getting his hemorrhage damage to monsters buff significantly. Mordekaiser is getting some more damage to jungle champions Mordekaiser getting some more damage to jungle camps as well, and Poppy's Hammer Shock max health damage versus non-champs is increasing. I think, so from what I gathered as I was looking at the jungle changes from last patch, all the champions they changed still had terrible play rates in the jungle and terrible, disgustingly low win rates in the jungle. So they're still trying to buff up some more champions to get people to play some of these off-meta junglers. But so far, I think it's not been going very well. I don't really think these changes matter too much. I don't think these changes make Darius a jungler or Mordekaiser a jungler. Poppy probably is a fringe jungler. Poppy is probably actually a fringe jungler, but I don't think Darius or Mordekaiser are now junglers because of this. So I don't know. They're going to keep trying stuff from patch to patch. We will see how that goes. Top lane significance, they're making pretty much melee champions can kill towers faster. They're increasing gold plating, like how much gold you get per plate, trying to make top lane just more relevant, just a little more useful to the team, get them a little more gold, a little stronger. Outer turret armor and MR is getting decreased, and then so we'll see how this goes. Obviously, top lane is where you're going to see the least range champions, so getting melee increases to towers and stuff, it's going to be the best for top lane, because mid laners you usually see range champions, bot lane you usually see range champions, and having more plates per gold, hopefully as people like TP away and you can stay up and take plates, and Rift Herald being top lane already, hopefully they'll be a little bit stronger, but I don't know. It's still going to be hard for top lane to be relevant with how good just dragons are this season. Also, just the fact that it's so far away from bot lane where you can get more kills, just more agency over the map. I don't know. It's going to be tough, but we'll see. They've been trying to fix top lane for so long, so many patches. Nothing's really worked, so I'm not too optimistic just yet. Blade of the Ruined King is getting current health damage increase for melee champions. That'll be interesting. A lot of guys that could be really strong on. I know people are kind of thinking Master Yi here, but so I've heard some Trundle stuff too, maybe Kled. We will see about that. Ravenous Hydra and Titanic Hydra are both getting some nice little buffs. Lifesteal increase for Ravenous, area of effect increase, and now occurs at your max attack range. Titanic Hydra is getting passive damage to targets and the cone increase. Those will be nice. Spell Thieves and Spectral Sickle, you now need to have an ally nearby to actually proc these, which means that Soraka top and Sona top and Janna top and Zillion top and whoever else that's abusing Spell Thieves Edge in the top lane, you're not going to be able to do that anymore because you're not going to be getting as much gold. You're actually going to have to farm and stuff to get gold, and it's going to be much harder for those champions. But the Spectral Sickle change does not mean that the no farm Senna strategy is dead, because she does, you know, have someone buy her in the bot lane, so you still will be able to do that strategy. Moby Boots getting increased. They are seeing so much play mid lane and support, and even like jungle and stuff sometimes too, so increasing the cost will be nice. It'll delay especially support power spikes a little bit. And then Swifties getting a movement speed increase. I don't know what the breakpoint's going to be for Swifties to be the best boots. They haven't been for a really long time, but getting a buff on them is interesting because they definitely have a very low pick rate. Eternals are coming soon. Can't wait for that. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. This was my rundown of patch 10.5. All the changes coming to the game again on March 4th for League of Legends. Leave a comment down below. What change are you most excited for? What change did they miss? You know, just any of your thoughts on this patch. It would be awesome to get that discussion going. Definitely subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. We got tons more videos, guides, strategies, all of that stuff coming to you guys in the near future. Hopefully I see you guys in the next video. But until then,